Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the PC Boys podcast. I am your host, Logan Locke. So it has been a while since I've done an episode for the main podcast. Of course, with school and whatnot, I had been super busy. I am doing a few classes over the summer, but relatively it's just going to be work and free time outside of a few days during the week. So more time to podcast. And this is going to be a longer episode because there is a lot to cover, from Spider-Man to Deadpool, because of course, we're getting closer to the release date. So we're going to be talking about, all the different promotional stuff that they're doing for that, as well as Twisters, because they released their new trailer. So I'm going to go a little bit into that as well. But for those of you that have been probably wondering if I'm going to be doing any video game reviews, I am currently working on a Stellar Blade review for you guys. So I'll have a fun time with ranting on Sony and their shit for that. I'm going to be doing a Soul game podcast here probably in the next week or so, talking about everything going on with PlayStation and Microsoft, because both of them are shooting themselves in the foot a lot. But if you guys want to follow my socials, I will have the link tree in the description down below. Mostly active either on Twitter or on the Discord, so those would probably be the two best places to be. But I'll just have all the links down below. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So I wanted to start off by talking about some new Marvel stuff that we got for Disney Plus. Obviously, this year, Marvel content is going to be very slow. We got X-Men 97, which has been very good and well received by many people. I'm personally enjoying the series a lot. A great continuation, as well as some of the Easter eggs that we got towards the end of X-Men 97 with some other characters and whatnot, but I won't spoil that. I'm not even doing a review on X-Men 97. But we did get the official Daredevil logo reveal. Now, obviously, at D23, we always get logos for upcoming movies, or in Marvel's case, their slates, but obviously the logos get moved around and changed drastically from their conceptual versions to the final version. And the Daredevil logo for Daredevil Born Again looks pretty good. It looks like blood dripping, but if you also look at it closely, it's the New York skyline. So something very reminiscent of Madame Web and how they did the logoing there. Of course, I'm still a huge fan of the original Daredevil logo from the Netflix series, but this isn't bad. This is a pretty good logo. It's much better than the prior ones that we had gotten, outside of the one with the actual DD on it. That one was pretty solid. But yeah, the very first logo that they had, that they showed, I think, back 2 or 3 years ago, that one did not look good at all. But then again, it was just mainly a concept one, something to have that they could show at D23, and it also was confirmed that this show will debut in March of next year, which is awesome because it's going to be right there at the beginning of, spring to summer transition, which is great. So, some big news about Daredevil Born Again. This series is no longer going to be 18 episodes, which it was initially pitched to be. It is now going to be 9 episodes. I am unclear, however, if they basically are just going to take the other half of the episodes and make that into a season 2, or if they're scrapping them altogether. I am not sure. Other things that we figured out about Daredevil Born Again is that apparently, originally, Daredevil Born Again was going to be a complete reboot, not connected to the Netflix series, and was going to have really no Daredevil in it at all. And it was going to be a legal crime drama. That part we did know. But after hearing that, I have to say I am very happy that Kevin Feige decided to pump the brakes after they had about 5 episodes done and said, nah, we got to go back to the drawing board, because that would have been a disaster. Not only would that have destroyed the Daredevil branding as it stood, but also it would ruin the love that the fan base has for the character and the following that that series had gotten on Netflix. So ultimately, it's a good thing that Kevin Feige decided to, of course, stop the production and go back and redo everything. Obviously, now it is canon to the Netflix series, and the Netflix series is canon to the MCU, which I figured that's what they were going to be doing anyways way back then when I reported on it back like a year or two ago. I was like, yeah, this is a continuation of Daredevil from Netflix, but I guess apparently that wasn't the original pitch, but it is canon now. Obviously, bringing back John Bernthal's Punisher, Karen and Foggy, as well as the original actress that played Vanessa, because they did recast her, and they went back on that whole decision, and of course they reshot scenes and stuff. And I think they're done wrapping up at least principal photography, but they might go back for reshoots later on in the year. But overall, though, Daredevil Born Again is looking to be very good, which I'm happy about. Like I said, bringing back the old cast. You know, you got Bullseye, Kingpin, Daredevil, Karen, Foggy, Vanessa, the whole old crew back together, and of course, John Bernthal's Punisher, which is great. Another thing that was said, too, about Daredevil Born Again is that John Bernthal's Punisher's series is actually going to be like implemented into this show, which is great. So if you guys haven't watched Punisher, I recommend watching the Punisher before we get to Daredevil Born Again, because it's going to play a major role. Last time I talked about Daredevil Born Again, I talked about the fact that there were going to be 3 white tigers in the series. I still think that's going to happen. I haven't heard anything about them going away from that. So I am still interested to see what route they go with that. But yeah, those are the new details about Daredevil. Got the new logo, got the month as to when it's going to be releasing next year, and finding out some things behind the scenes that we didn't know initially, which would of course be bad for the actual series if they actually were to continue to go down that original plan. All right, so another Disney Plus thing that we got was another name change for Agatha, which has now been changed to Agatha All Along. And they had like 4 or 5 different fucking names for this series. And to be honest with you guys, I don't really care. I'm not going to lie. This is not a series I'm exactly looking forward to or hyped about. Will I watch it? Probably, just to hold me over. But that's really about the only reason I'd watch this. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it will be interesting. I don't know much about this series. I'm not going to lie. I haven't really kept up to date with it. It could have anything to do with before WandaVision or after. I would guess it would take place before, because she did die in WandaVision, unless they're going to retcon that. But yeah, ultimately, I don't have much to say about this series. I just think it's funny that they changed the name of it like 4 or 5 times. But this is the official name now, and the official logoing. And also, which is cool, that Marvel Studios is now branding their Disney Plus content as Marvel Television. So that's nice that there's also a little bit of a rebranding there as well. But yeah, so just a little bit of something extra there. I'm not going to talk about Assassin's Creed. That's for a different podcast. But we did get a new poster for Daredevil and Wolverine, which by far is the best poster that we've gotten this far, because I think the first poster that we got was of the keychain necklace of the two, and then the second poster that we had was like the claws and, of course, Deadpool with the blades, and it was just a reflection of either Wolverine or Deadpool's face. And then there was another poster of like Deadpool running his finger down Wolverine's claw. But no, this is by far the best poster that I've seen yet for it. Because both Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman did put this out the other day, as well, of course, as the tickets going on sale, which was a fiasco for certain areas, like the bigger theater chains and stuff like that. In the bigger populated areas, we're having a hard time with their websites and stuff when it came to the tickets. But obviously, if you're in a much more smaller area with smaller theater chains, it was relatively easy to get your tickets. But yeah, so that was a little bit of something that happened the other day. And if you get the premium package, speaking of that necklace, you actually get that necklace if you buy the premium package in terms of the Deadpool tickets and whatnot. But yeah, this was a nice little drop that we got the other day. Of course, standing now, we're in May, so we're a few months away from Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it's actually right around 2 months, a little over 2 months. But it's really exciting because for once we got a Marvel movie that is going to probably, well, I mean, no doubtably, it's going to make a lot of money. How much? We don't know. Will it be $1 billion movie? Will it not? Is kind of like the guess right now. We don't really know until we get closer, but all the, reactions of early screenings and stuff, or test screenings, have been very positive, which is obviously good news. There's also a bunch of marketing for the movie now. They've done like a Heineken commercial. They've done like a Coca-Cola commercial. So the marketing is starting to ramp up, obviously. And yesterday when they released the new quote-unquote trailer, but it was for the, tickets, there was a few new scenes in there, but they weren't of anything significant. It was just kind of like a joke of Deadpool being like, he's has his knife in Wolverine's ass, and Wolverine's like, what's stuck in me? He's like, I'm trying to remove my knife. Jeez, don't have your mind go there, you dirty dog, or whatever. So no, it was funny. It was a pretty funny trailer, but basically all the scenes that we had seen, some extended things, a few things we hadn't seen yet, but nothing really noteworthy of talking about. No major character reveals or anything. We pretty much got all that we need from the prior trailer. But yeah, so that's kind of like the big news in terms of like Daredevil at this moment, or Deadpool. It's the double D, guys. I don't know what to do about it. But yeah, so big news on Spider-Man 4, because outside of Deadpool and guessing who's gonna be in the movie and what that storyline is gonna be like, or with Daredevil, is it canon, is it not canon? Spider-Man has a different reason of, clusterfuckery going on, okay? Like, it's really weird, and it's concerning in a way. And I'll explain why. So, back earlier in the year, and after Spider-Man No Way Home, Sony and Marvel Studios had to come together and re-go through their agreements for the character of Spider-Man, obviously, and sharing the rights. They did the same thing after Spider-Man Far From Home, back when that came out. And Sony wanted to do a Spider-Man movie that is strictly multiverse. So, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man coming back, another multiverse adventure. Kevin Feige wanted to do a ground-level Spider-Man movie with Kingpin, Daredevil, and probably some other street-level heroes like Jessica Jones, even throw in Kate Bishop's Hawkeye if you want to, and make it a street-level movie. And what it seems like is they found this middle ground of sorts for the movie. So it is supposed to be a ground level movie, which is great. There's a lot of talk of Black Cat being in the movie, and there's like people being like, get Sydney Sweeney to play Black Cat, which, by the way, they should do that. That'd be a great casting choice. Plus, it would also redeem her from the fucking tragedy that was Madam Web. But on top of that, they also were talking about the Scorpion. And the Scorpion has been set up all the way since Spider-Man Homecoming in the post-credit scene with Adrian Toomes and him meeting up in prison. And basically, you had Matt Gargan asking Adrian Toomes, hey, I heard you knew who Spider-Man is. We'd like to meet him, slice open his throat, take a picture, and all that other shit. I mean, he is a murderer after all. But then Adrian Toomes defends Peter's identity by being like, if I knew who he was, he'd already be dead. So they're going to be bringing him in from what it sounds like, which is great. I've been waiting for Scorpion since the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought he would be the villain of Far From Home, but no, they decided to do Mysterio, the Fishbowl Man, and give him the worst fucking motive for any villain in the MCU possible. But anywho, rant for another day. I am happy that they're going to be bringing Scorpion in based upon what I'm hearing. If they decide to change direction, I'll be pissed because I want Scorpion so fucking bad. We need him. He's been set up and they've done nothing with him. But the other half of this is Sony also is kind of getting a win because they are doing multiversal stuff, but it's going to be at the end of the movie. And some rumors right now that are going around in the sources region are saying that Spider-Man is going to die at the end of Spider-Man 4, but he's going to get the black suit at the very end of the movie, and that will lead into, of course, Avengers 3 and Secret Wars. And if that's the case, would be a good way to introduce the black suit at the very end of the fourth movie. I would be fine with that. I think that'd be a great way to introduce it. Obviously, in the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, a piece of the symbiote was left in the MCU, so how it kind of gets to Peter would be a little bit of an interesting story. But there's also speak of Tom Hardy's Venom coming from Venom 3 into the MCU. And I think I've talked about this in a podcast, either one or two podcasts prior, but apparently Venom is going to be coming to the MCU at the end of Venom 3. Venom 3, as of right now, we'll talk about that in a minute and kind of like the villain and like what's going on there. But what it sounds like is Tom Hardy's Venom is coming to the MCU and will probably appear at the end of Spider-Man 4, as well as Peter getting the symbiote at the end of Spider-Man 4. It's kind of up in the air because there's a lot of things being said because of the multiversal factor, right? They could do a lot of different things at the end of the movie. There's some people saying Spider-Man's going to die, he's going to get the symbiote suit, whether it's directly from Tom Hardy's Venom or that piece that was left behind at the end of No Way Home. We don't know. But there's a few different theories right now as to how that's going to work. But all that we know is Venom is coming to the MCU, will be in Secret Wars at the moment, which would make sense because obviously you're doing the multiverse saga, so why not? Sony and Marvel have already struck a deal, and chances are Sony wants to get Venom into the MCU, so it would make sense, even though this will be Tom Hardy's last film, Venom 3. But I personally would like for Peter to get the black suit and not have it be directly tied to Tom Hardy's Venom, because I think it would complicate things a lot, unless they're going to do this thing like Venom goes from Tom Hardy to Peter and he gets the suit that way. I don't know. I mean, it would lead into Venom getting the spider logo for Secret Wars, which everybody would go nuts about in the theater. But then you would have to build up a conflict in Venom 3 at the very end of the movie that would make Venom want to leave Eddie Brock and go to Peter Parker. They might do that. So, yeah. But anyways, that's all I have to talk about for, Spider-Man 4 at the moment and where they're at. I decided to put the picture of the black suit concept art that was in the No Way Home art book, because originally at No Way Home they were going to bring Venom in that final battle and stuff, and Peter was going to get the black suit then, but they obviously cut it out of the movie because there was already a bunch of things going on, and plus it would be very shoehorned in. But I hope the black suit looks something like that, although I do think that the middle spider should be touched up a little bit from the artwork. It looks a little funky to me. It doesn't have as much character. But going into Venom 3, though, there is quite a bit of interesting information in regards to that movie. Because there's a lot of, like castings and stuff where it's like who's playing who. And apparently the villain it might have been revealed as to, who will be the symbiote host. And it's probably not what you're expecting. So when it comes to behind the scenes pictures of Venom 3, just like with Spider-Man No Way Home, the crew of the movie gets like these little goodies and stuff like that. And that's how we knew about the multiversal crossovers and stuff from No Way Home before the trailers and stuff like that. But with Venom 3, the logo has this green tint to it. Now, for those of you that remember Riot from Venom 1 and the Life Foundation, this symbiote is also said to be from the Life Foundation, at least from the comics origin, and that being Lasher. So in the original, Lethal Protector series, the Life Foundation created Riot, Agony. Agony's like a purple symbiote. Scream, she's like a yellowish orange symbiote. Lasher, who's a green symbiote, and Phage, who's like this yellowish orange symbiote. But it seems like Lasher is going to be the villain of this movie, and there are theories going around, which is supported, that the symbiote is going to attach itself to a dog and not a person. Now, that would be very different and interesting. In the comics, Lasher did bond to a dog. I can't recall if it was his first host or not, but he did latch on to a dog at one point in the comic books. And Tom Hardy, way back when they were starting the filming of Venom, he put out a picture on his social media of him, like, screaming at a dog. Like, there was a picture of a dog next to him, and he was, like, screaming at it. There was some, theories going around about it being a werewolf-related character. But now, with the green logoing and relating that to Lasher's color scheme, and knowing that he, did bond to a dog in the comic books, it would make a lot of sense for Lasher to, of course, be the villain and be attached to a dog. I don't think, however, Lasher will be the only symbiote in the movie. I really am hoping that we get Agony. For some reason, I have this, inkling of belief that Agony is going to be in the movie. I don't have any proof to back that up, by the way. I'm just saying that, I have a feeling in my gut that we will get Agony in this movie. And then, of course, Toxin, because they set Toxin up at the end of Let There Be Carnage with Patrick Mulligan. So if they don't bring fucking Toxin into this movie, I'm going to be pissed, because number one, Toxin's cool as shit, and number two, you set him up. So don't pull a fucking Marvel Studios and not do anything with the character. But yeah, so I am very, very pumped to see what symbiotes we get in Venom 3. Lasher, pretty much guaranteed at this point. I would hope for Agony, even though there is no proof of that. I'm holding on hope that we get Agony and, of course, Toxin. But Toxin's kind of the only given one, considering he was set up in the last movie. I thought I did put a picture up of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but I guess I didn't. I might have it on my phone. Let me check my phone really quick, because I thought I posted something about the behind-the-scenes photos for Venom 3, but if I don't have it on my phone, then I'll search it up on Twitter. Let's see here. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not even gonna fuck with my phone right now. It's being retarded. Alright. Let's look up Venom 3. There should be some pictures from behind the scenes. Or at least the, I don't know what all this shit's about. I feel like anytime you look anything up on Twitter, it just gives you everything you don't need. See, Venom 3 crew apparel. That might give me something. I would hope. Okay, I guess it's gonna give me nothing. This is fucking ridiculous. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna have to go to the lovely web for this. Do not judge my spelling, guys. This is probably gonna make my whole fucking stream shit lag. Yeah, no, I am not getting anything on this. Well, that's unfortunate, considering the fact that, it was very telling, but okay. Well, I tried. But, yeah, that's really all there was for Venom 3. I was just hoping that I was actually going to be able to find the apparel that everybody got behind the scenes, but no, they just... Apparently we aren't going to fucking be able to see it. Oh well. If I end up finding it at some point after this podcast, I'll just post it to the Twitter so you guys can easily find it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for the Marvel side of things. But if you guys want to stick around, I do want to talk about Twisters really briefly. Considering the fact that this movie has a real-life Twister in it, and me being the weather nerd that I am, of course I'm going to talk about it. So... Twisters, originally, when the trailer came out, there's this big tornado in it, like the EF5, EF6, if you will, of the movie. Now, this Twister, I thought was a fake Twister, because, of course, like the tornadoes in the original Twister, they're not based on real tornadoes, from what I know of. But in this movie, however, the huge tornado is actually the El Reno tornado. And for anybody in the meteorological space or just tornado fans in general, will know of this tornado, considering it was the widest twister ever recorded at, I believe, 2.6 or 2.7 miles wide, and I believe the max wind speeds got up to 300 miles per hour. Now, this twister, unfortunately, took the life of the Twistex team, as well as, I believe it was Tim Samares. And basically, when they were filming the storm, they were in the bear cage, which essentially is like this pocket where you have a hail wall off to your northwest, and then you have the twister, which is moving northeast. So it's kind of like closing you in, so you get the best view of the twister, but it's also the most dangerous. And that day, Tim was in the wrong kind of car, and he ended up trying to beat the tornado by going northeast. However, the tornado rapidly gained in size and in wind speed direction, so it just like straight shotted for them while they were driving, and unfortunately it threw their car. But that is the tornado that will be in the new Twisters movie, the big tornado, the El Reno tornado. And also, if you're watching the trailer, the water tower that falls says El Reno on it. That was like the dead giveaway for me, like, oh, okay, that's a real tornado. But yeah, it was the widest ever recorded in history. So I'm curious as to how much they're going to embellish on the tornado. El Reno, from what I remember, was in a relatively rural area. It wasn't like the Joplin Twister that went through a densely populated city, which killed a lot of people. So I am interested to see how they depict it in the movie. Obviously, we have a fire-nado in the movie, which only exists because the twister goes over a oil refinery and obviously causing explosions and picking up fire in the process. And of course, there's a lot of different, like, weather, chasing techniques. You know, they're using drones and stuff in this movie. So there's a lot of cool things about it. Not to mention, I think that some of the footage is, like, real tornadoes mixed with CGI. So that's pretty cool. And the cast so far looks good. I really like, Anthony Ramos. He, of course, played in Transformers Rise of the Beast. He's playing in, Twisters. And, oh, fuck, what's the other movie that's coming out that he's playing in? Oh, fuck. Ironheart. Never mind. It's Ironheart on Disney+. So, I'm really looking forward to the movie just based upon him. I've liked what he's done so far. And then, of course, you have Glenn Powell, played in Top Gun Maverick, Anyone But You, few other movies. But, you know, he's a pretty good actor, so I'm pretty excited to see what he brings to the table. Obviously, he's probably going to be like a snarky douchebag because he's very good at playing that role. But, it looks really good. I'm really excited. I'm a big Twister nerd and weather nerd, even though I didn't go to college for that because I suck at math. But watching Twister every time, and now its sequel, it just always reignites my love for storms, storm chasing, and just weather research in general, just for fun. But yeah, so that's all I have to talk about for Twister. I just thought it'd be, you know, cool to let you guys know that it is based on a real tornado, and if you guys want to look up that tornado, what it looked like, and stuff like that, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. Pecco's Hank, he does a very good job with filming Twisters and whatnot. But yeah, so if you want to go watch any tornado stuff, that is the place to go watch it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for this episode. There's just been a shit ton of things going on when it comes to Marvel, when it comes to, Twisters and whatnot. It's hard to keep up with things, and like I said, I'm having to do these podcasts well after the news comes out, so it's like this long-ass recap of shit rather than when things directly come out. But it makes for a decently sized episode. So I am really excited, though. There's a lot to be excited for and worried about. I'm really excited about Daredevil, really excited about Twisters and Deadpool, little worried about Spider-Man 4 and how they're going to handle the multiverse and the symbiote plot there at the end of the movie. But they still got about a year. You know, it's not supposed to come out till next year, so we got some time. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you all in the next one.